was going to try without a microphone, because I hate microphones. Can you hear? Yes. Put up your hands if you can't hear. No, seriously, you can hear at the back? What? Sorry. If it gets impossible, shout and I'll pick up the horrible thing.
You want to try one of these?
Have you got one of those?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. What do I do with that? Yeah? Does it work? Yes. First of all, you've got to imagine what sort of honour it is to be invited to this city to talk about peace. I've never been to Coventry before. I have read about it, been sent to it at school once or twice, and now today I walked in around that cathedral and found it unspeakably moving. Also, I found it remarkable the intensity of the silence which is sat through. Seems a pity to spoil it with words, but I'll do my best. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to give you the shortest lecture you've ever had, because I don't like giving lectures, I like telling stories. So it's going to be a short lecture, and then lots of stories, and then lots of questions, all around the subject that we're here for. I'm not going to, this will be mentioned as well. That's up there so that you go and buy it afterwards. You do understand. We all get that. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about peace just the same as what you do. This is my lecture called The Lives of Others. Who'll sing the anthem and who will tell the story? Will the line hold? Will it scatter and run? Shall we at last be united in glory, only remembered for what we have done? So goes the song which begins and ends in the National Theatre's play for wars. But why tell the story? Why sing an anthem? Why make a play about the First World War? Why create an anthology, as I have done, of songs and poems, of stories, of memories, now in 2016, 100 years after that catastrophic war was fought? And why do all this deliberately? For young people, for a family audience? Well, because a strong thread of connection to our past, to the lives of others who lived and died then, and were often related to us in some way, is essential to our understanding of ourselves, as a people, as a culture, as a country, as part of a world of immense complexity, where conflict and confrontation loom as large as they ever did, and have their roots in our history and in the history and lives of others. We have to know where we have come from if we are ever to know where we should be going. A seismic shift of the power plates in Europe at the beginning of the First World War has shaped the destiny of our world ever since. It was a titanic clash of empires that involved the entire world. Millions died, most far from home, in a war that need never have happened. They believed, most of them, that the suffering and endurance and the dying were ultimately for the good of their families, their countries, and the world. Only win this war, and this would be the war that would end all wars. So, the old empires bled themselves almost to death in the trenches, on the barbed wire, in no man's land. But in the wake of this war, despite the best intentions of many, the conditions were created by those who had won, so that the losers were humiliated and the world carved up in a way that served to contribute, at least in part, to the beginning of the next World War, 20 years later. After which, the victors squabbled once again over the spoils of war. And on it has gone ever since. From the Somme to Syria, maybe a distance in time of 100 years. But for those involved, the suffering is the same. It is the same madness. And in all this holocaust of destruction, who does suffer? It is not only the soldiers at the front, wherever that front is. If they survive, they often live lives scarred by terrible wounds of mind and body. If they die, they never grow to be parents and grandparents, to live fulfilled and useful lives. The grief and anger felt by those who loved them lives on, corrodes, turns to a thirst for vengeance. And of course it is also those families and children at home, by any standards innocent victims, who are considered legitimate targets. Collateral damage, it is often called. Entire villages, towns, and cities are razed, entire peoples wiped out. It could be said that the concept of total war was invented and indeed achieved during the First World War. The means by which to achieve mass killing, gas, machine guns, shelling, tanks, bombing in the air was not perfected then. That came later and is still in the process of perfection. But we learned through those years of horror to destroy one another with a new and brutal efficiency. But who were these people who lived and died in such times? They were our forebears, the forebears of others, of so many nationalities and cultures and religions. Forebears forgotten now. We do not remember properly any of them. The passing of the years has seen to that. We know them only in faded sepia photographs, as names on gravestones and memorials in our churchyards in this country and in others in cemeteries everywhere. I think of two such names. One of my village of Illisley in deepest Devonshire, and one in the village of Alpbach, high in the mountains of Austria. Maybe they met each other long ago, an Englishman and an Austrian saw one another across no man's land, or met one another at the end of the bayonet, killed one another. Two men, farm workers maybe, or foresters, who had no quarrel with one another. Two men with families who never came home. The only thread of memory we have left now are their stories, true or imagined, their poems and pictures that tell of the pity and futility, the courage and the camaraderie, of the horror and the humour and the hope, songs that ring on down the years, that tell us how it was, and warn us, yet again, not to go to war if it can possibly be avoided. That peace is the great prize the world longs for. They long for. and fought for. I told you it'd be a short lecture, that's it. I want to talk, first of all, about my journey to be standing here with a white copy here, and a red one, but a white one there. The reason I'm doing this is because everyone in this room has thought very hard about the question of war or peace. What do you do? What is a dilemma? How do you deal with the dilemma of Italian now? It's in our heads actually at the moment, for all sorts of reasons. What do we do? If this kind of fascist notion that seems to be about hate and anger is in the air, what do we do if we're confronted with it? When it's not just a comfortable thing to come to a lecture and listen about it. What do we actually do? I don't know. But what I can tell you is how I came to be standing here. I'm a war child. I was born in 1943. Is anyone here? Born in 1943. It's a supremely great vintage. It's the best. Nice to see you. Anyone else 1943? No. See how rare it is? Yes. It's rare. Why? Born in 1943, which means I grew up just after the Second World War. I played in bomb sites. They were great. They are the best playgrounds man ever invented. I promise you. For a start, we weren't allowed to go into them, which is strict. There were signs up saying, "Do not go in." I play bombs. Yeah, here you go. There were dens in the cellars. There were walls to climb. There was birds nesting to do on the walls that could tumble down and kill you. It was great. And what did we do? We played war. We killed as many Germans as we could, because they were all nasty. That's how you grew up in 1945, 46, 47. So as a little boy, I grew up like that. And then what happens is you begin to think of it. Why did that house fall down? And you start to ask, yeah, there was bombing in the war here. Lots and lots of houses were knocked down. You can see them all around you. Then you go to the sweet shop, and there's a man sitting outside the sweet shop, and he's got one leg, and the trouser legs curled up underneath him, and a little puppy. And he's got his hat out and he's put some money in. And you walk by on the other side because he smells of it. Bit by bit, these things start happening. Then you notice the photograph on the mantelpiece in your home. And the photograph was of my Uncle Peter. My Uncle Peter was 21 when he was shot down in the RAF and killed. I knew that. You know, me. Yet he's my uncle, he's a picture. And then my mother, always on the verge of 11th day, crying. I didn't understand why. But then I did. My brother's dead, she told me. But I didn't know him, so I couldn't grieve. Just thought it was strange. What wasn't strange is that he was a hero. All these people were heroes when we were little then, growing up. And bit by bit, these realizations grew. A man used to come visit us. He was a friend of the family, and I looked forward to him coming because he had also been a hero. He was in something called Fleet Aero, which allowed their planes on carriers and things. Very romantic to a 6, 7-year-old boy. And he would come in very smart. He could be an officer or something because he had a watch chip. And he had a face name also, except half of the face was missing. The skin was sort of stretched across, and one ear was gone, and he had 2 fingers. So I'm this little boy, and I'm looking at this man, who I know is a great, great hero, but I can't stop being fascinated by his face. My mother used to say to me, when Eric comes again, you stare at him last time, you're not to stare at him again. So what did I do? He would come in and sit down, we'd have tea, which is very proper, and I was thinking of, you know, spoons on teacups and polite conversation. And I would start looking at his feet because I knew I wasn't looking at it. And then your eyes go up, and you go to the watch chain. He's still alive. He's 94 now. He had his face put together by an extraordinary surgeon called McKinley, East Coast. And he was living evidence to me of what war did to flesh. Not only what it did to uncles, it killed them. Not only what it did to flesh, I knew what it did to building, bit by bit. How I began to feel about war itself, meant I couldn't play the games of war anymore. Didn't enjoy them anymore. Killing Germans wasn't so much fun anymore. I was growing up. The more you grew up, the more you realised that actually this war thing was still going on. There were what's called little wars, like Korea or Ireland or wherever, where people were still dying. That was going on. People would talk about it in the house. It was quite a political house, a Christian socialist house. People talked about it. And then I discovered something else in my family, which was my big problem, which has haunted me all my life. I told you about one of my uncles, my Uncle Peter. He had a brother, my Uncle Francis. And my Uncle Francis was a pacifist. So when the war began, 1939, he decided, this is not for me. I have nothing to do with it. I don't care how nasty Mr. Hitler is. It's nothing to do with me. I don't kill people. And so what they did with people then was slightly more humane than the beginning of the First World War. They would send them off to work on farms. And my uncle was sent up to Lincolnshire to work on farms up there. And it went on for about a year, and then he heard that his brother had been killed. And he thought, I can't stand back now. I've got to do something. So he joined up, and he joined some people called the SOE, Special Operations Executive, because he could speak French, because he was half Belgian. I'm quarter Belgian, which is why I'm so handsome. But he joined up, and was this extraordinarily brave soldier, but being dropped in France and doing all these heroic things, no one ever knew about it until after the war. And then we found out he was this sort of man. What did he do? He went back after the war, did exactly what he'd been doing before the war. He was a teacher. What he loved was education. What he loved was going into the classroom each day and trying to inspire children, teach children about the possibilities and the potential of this world and this society. He was a very committed man. And he had these 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it was, playing this other role. So I grew up with these stories in my head and didn't know what to do in life for a bit. Still not sure. But they really. So I wanted somehow to prove myself aged 18. And I didn't know how to do so. I joined the army. Disaster, you know, but I did join the army. I went to a place called Sandhurst, which is where all well brought up middle class English people go if they wish to be officers. So I was going to be an officer in the army, because what I wanted to do was to see if I had, I suppose, the courage to do what both these uncles in the end had done. Well, it took me about a year and a half to realise this is not the way I wanted to go, and I'll tell you why I decided. And it was I'm not St. Paul, but I had a sort of thing, like the bit on the road to Damascus. Does somebody know what I'm talking about? It was one of those moments of conversion. In the army, you do what are called exercises, which means pretend wars. No, honestly, we do nothing like that. That's what you do, pretend wars. So what you do is you have exercises where you go out for 3 days and there's a pretend enemy. And it was, I remember, 1962, winter. And my goodness, what a winter. The snow came down, it was unbelievably cold, we were on exercise, and we were in trenches. And the enemy, so-called, was a regiment called the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. And if there was a species of human being hated by the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, it was English officer cadets. So we were in one lot of trenches, they were in the other, and they were shouting at us all the things they would do to us if they caught us. Suddenly it wasn't funny. It was a dark, dark night except for the snow. They kept shouting these things, and no one went to sleep, I promise you. We stood in our trenches and waited for them to come. We knew it was going to be a play fight when it happened, but we still were looking forward to it. And as I was standing in my slip trench looking out over the snowy west, what came to mind to me was a story I'd heard of when in the First World War, Christmas Day, 1914. German troops and British troops, and actually others as well, got out of their trenches and met in the middle and shook hands and exchanged gifts and talked and tried on each other's uniforms and played a game of football. And guess who won? If you don't think it's true, I promise you, I read a letter from a German lieutenant back to his Liebling somewhere, probably Kiel or something like that, I don't know, saying, Liebling, the most amazing thing happened. It was Christmas Day. We had a game of football with Tommy in the middle, and I am proud to say to you, meine Liebling, it was Fritz 2, Tommy 1. You don't change much, you do. Anyway, it was a moment for this now 19-and-a-half-year-old to start thinking, hang on, what am I doing here, what am I doing here? Because actually, that's what I want, not the other thing. So I left. I had to go in front of lots of officers who said, what do you do? And I made up all sorts of lies and excuses, and then I went out. And when you're banished in the army, it's rather like being kicked out of a nunnery. Well, I think it is. I've never been kicked out of a nunnery. You have to get a uniform in and off you go. It was very distressing because I didn't know what I was going to do myself. But luckily, I fallen in love with a wonderful girl who thought it was a really good idea anyway, and said, I can be a proper person, you can go to university, get yourself educated, and do what you really want to do, which by this time was to become a teacher. Anyway, I've told you that story because that's how I came to this position, I suppose, of thinking that this is the way forward. And of course, I still think that now. So I started as a teacher. I taught. Are there any year sixes here? Put your hands up. Stand up if you're year six. Stand up. No, I want all the others to look at you. I had to teach 35 little monsters like that. 35 like that I had to teach. And when you get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, are there any teachers here? Any teachers? Oh, give a clap, please! Anyway, I taught these year sixes and I discovered something through a wonderful head teacher. This head teacher came to me one morning. She said, "What a marvellous idea, Malcolm. What a marvellous idea. In the bar, last night, quite mad. All the best head teachers are quite mad. And this one said, fantastic idea." She said, "It's 3 o'clock. When we get to 3 o'clock, it's the same for teachers, same for children. We're all exhausted, we're all tired, we can't learn anything. What's up with the teaching? What's the point of learning? You can't do it. So what you do, you read the story from 3 o'clock, very afternoon. Do it. Don't ask them questions about it, no punctuation exercises, just read them a story that they can enjoy." So in 3 o'clock each day, I used to read my horrible essay. Just any story that I like. The trick was to read a story I like. And the silence I had was rather like the silence we had a moment ago in the street. Total focus. Totally lost in their thoughts. In this case, about a story. This is wonderful. This is what education is. And the more I read, the more I realized, this is great, this is great. So then I ran out of good books to read. And went to my wife one day and said, "Just started his books, no good, they don't like it, they're all picking their noses, looking out the window." And he said, "Well, don't go on with it, you're boring them. I'm going tomorrow. Go ahead. Tell a story of your own, you know. Make it up." I said, "In year sixes, they'll eat me alive." She said, "Well, you're Carol." I said, "Yes." So she said, "I promise you, Michael, you're a really good liar. Go in there." I went in there the next day and stayed awake all night. I made up this brilliant story, went in and told the story, and it was the best teaching moment of my life. I suddenly realized after 10 minutes of this, I will show you now. They know it already, I don't tell them. I'm now going to show you what a year 6 child looks like at about 3:15 in the afternoon. Watch. So I started telling this story and they were going. And then there was a moment, 10 minutes in. when it began to change. Watch my face, watch. When I get it. And I got to 3:30, and it was the best moment of my teaching life. The bell went, and they went, "Oh, sir! Yes!" I thought, I'll do this again. And then, of course, after a while, what happened? I got stories because I wanted to like it. And then something changed. I started writing stories that I meant inside here, that I really cared about. And the more I read those stories, the more I found a commonality between the young children, even if they were horrible year sixes. That we had a common humanity together, a common caring, and many of these stories seem to be about my memories of being young, about war and peace. And every story I've ever written about war, and I've written many, has actually been a story about peace. I will mention now that book up there now because I've got to, otherwise there's a publisher at the back. Who like secret police really? If you don't mention the title up there, they won't publish it. Anyway, Even in the Snow is what I wrote quite recently. The stories I write are almost always based on truth of some sort. What I don't do is make stories up that come from nowhere. And in this particular case, a man at the BBC wanted to make a film, and he said, "I'm going to tell you the most extraordinary story, which happens to be true. And we want to make a film of it. Will you write a film script?" I said, "No, I hate film scripts. But I like writing novels. So you tell me the story, I'll write a novel about it. Then you'll have to buy the film rights." So I said, "Okay, I'll tell the story." And this is the story. Young orphan boy called Henry Tandey. Went off to join the army at the beginning of the 20th century sometime, age 14. Went off to South Africa, fought in the Boer War a bit, came back from South Africa at the beginning of the First World War, and found himself, 1914, marching down the road towards Ypres in Belgium. And he's a little man, besides, very modest, softly spoken, no one thought much of it until they got into battle. And then he did, this man, the most extraordinary things. He didn't seem to have any fear of being wounded or dying. He just went and did stuff. So if someone was lying wounded in no man's land, he'd climb out of the section and fetch him. Time and again he got wounded a bit, didn't bother, just went out and did the same thing again. He got medal after medal after medal. Unbelievably brave. What's interesting about the character is that no one knew why he was like that. He was not a macho sort of man who liked killing people, but he was always the first up to attack if he was attacked by a German machine gun or grenades or whatever. He was the first to do it. 1918, towards the end of the war, they came to a place in France called Mercoing, and there was a battle, a short, nasty battle between German soldiers who were retreating and our lot were moving forward, and Henry Tandey and his company came up against a couple of German machine guns, so he thought, okay, sort that out, got out of his trench, ran forward, killed and took a prisoner some of the enemy. And all this was witnessed by his friends. And there was a lot of smoke around, a lot of exhaustion. Apparently when you fight in a war, being exhausted afterwards is completely normal. Really exhausted. And there's a lot of smoke about. And they were standing about there feeling exhausted, but glad it was over. And then after the smoke wandered this single soldier, German soldier. And he had his hat in his hand, dragging the rifle away. And all Tommy's raised their guns to shoot him. And Tandey said, "No, don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. It's over. What do you mean? It's over. Let him go." And this is all written down. Not make it up. He walked up to this German soldier, looked in the eye. I do not know what language he used, but he told him in uncertain terms, "Go home to Germany." And the guy just lifted his hand up, turned around and walked off. They all thought, well, that was very noble. For his action then, he went to Buckingham Palace 2 or 3 months later to receive the Victoria Cross from King George V. And then he went and found a job in a place called Coventry, the Standard Car Factory. I think he was a security person or something. And he lived in Coventry and he got married. And in 1936, Adolf Hitler started telling people that his life had been spared by a Tommy at the Battle of Mercoing. Yeah. Makes the hair go up in the back of your neck, doesn't it? And they came knocking on his door, probably the Daily Mail. So excuse me, the Chancellor of Germany is saying that he wasn't much liked by this time at all. He's saying you spared his life. Do you realise what you've done? And then he kindly said, well, if I don't know, I'll shot the better. But they got a bit serious. Because, as you know, the war came closer and closer and closer. And in 1939 he went to join up. As so many others did, but he was 40-something. And he'd been wounded badly. And despite his medals, they wouldn't have it. They said, no, you can't do it. Civil defence. You go to civil defence. So all this time he said this man, who no one knows much about at all, got a photograph of him at home now, but no one knows very much about his private life at all. This humble man went into civil defence and went out at night to make sure people were switching out their lights and if bombers came, getting in their dugouts. So he was there on the night the bombs came, great bullets, and he was pulling bodies out of ropes and trying to save those that he could save. And in his head all the time he knew he could stop this with one bullet all those years ago. He said, could you tell me that story? Could you write that story, Mr. Jackson? So I wrote it. I called it Eagle in the Snow. It's not the true story. I use the truth and then I tell it differently. In fact, my only experience of the Second World War is in this book. It begins when I know about this because my mother told me. Apparently, when the 52s were coming over, the best thing to do was not to be there when the bombs were coming over, but to go north. So we got on a train and we're travelling up north to stay, I think, in the Cumbria somewhere with a uncle who was a vicar. Anyway, what happened was that the train was attacked by a German fighter. And this is what happened. The train drove into a tunnel and the driver put the brakes on and came to a halt and everyone fell on the floor, apparently including me, 82 or 1. And another picked me up and then everyone was crying and then the train sort of sat there, breathing in the tunnel. And of course didn't leave because they were going to go out there while others were playing around. And apparently my mother told me everyone started telling stories to calm everyone down. So this is a story told by a strange man in a train to a small boy. Anyway, it's not bad. And it's really cheap, you can get it. I'm really pleased that today we have here a gentleman from Dresden, who I've been talking to over summer. I'll tell you why I'm pleased. Because the dream I had, which I want to tell you about, a dream came true. I'll just tell you something of my domestic situation at home. My wife and I sleep in a double bed, I just thought I'd mention that. I usually sleep on this side. That's right. She sleeps on that side. And here's the thing. We have problems sleeping unless we have the radio on. We have Radio 4, the World Service on, all the time, all night. It lullabies us to sleep. So we were asleep with the radio on one night, and I sleep. I'm intermittent really. I have this amazing dream. Just the most extraordinary dream. It was Belfast. Don't know why Belfast. And it was during the war. Don't know why. And it was about this lady, strange lady, who worked in the zoo in Belfast. But you can tell it's a dream, it's crazy. the message lady, my buzz with the dream. And she looked after the elephants in the zoo. And they were called in, all the managers of all the various animals were called in one day, and the zoo director said, I'm terribly sorry to tell you this, but we've had instructions from the army that if the bombers come as we expect them to bomb the docks and the shipbuilding yards, we are going to have to shoot all the large animals in the zoo. And that, I'm afraid, he said, telling her, includes your elephants. She said, you can't. You can't. I understand the big ones, yes, but I got this orphan elephant, 2 years old. He eats out of my hand, wouldn't harm a soul. You can't. And the zoo director said, in his dream, well, if you can guarantee you can look after this elephant for 24 hours a day, which means, of course, living here at the zoos, then fine, but you can't. That elephant would have to be shot like all the others. And she said, no, I'll take it home with me. She did. She took the elephant home 5 o'clock every evening, brought it in after breakfast the next morning to work. Every single day. It was the most amazing dream. I woke up in the morning, I said to my wife, just had this amazing dream about Belfast and an elephant and this lady. And she said, no, dreams on the radio or something. So now I got a true dream. And I thought, it can't be true, it's ridiculous. Went downstairs and I asked the great God of this world, who is called Google. And I went, Belfast, Blitz, and out came, and you could do it yourself, a photograph of this lady in her back garden with her elephant. It was fantastic. So I thought, that's the next story. I get very excited. You tell me excited about the next story. Then I'm thinking. Actually, I've written a lot. A really lot about war on this side. And as you will have gathered from my introduction, I have realized for a long time that war happens on all sides. And I was thinking of what happened in Belfast. Have it in Germany. Turn it round, turn it on its head. And the one city we all know that suffered terribly in the Second World War from bombing. Many German cities did, but Dresden was maybe the worst of all. I don't know, I don't have the figures, but it was dreadful. So I started doing some research in Dresden. This is where that gets really interesting. The more you research, the more that happens. Enjoys your story. What did I discover? That in Dresden, they had a zoo. And that the director of the zoo had got together everyone else and said, if the British and American bombers come, you're going to shoot them, otherwise they'll get out into the town. And the bombers did come, as we know. And they didn't, in time, shoot the animals. And the next bit of research I read, from several places, was one of the sounds you could hear when the bombs went away was the screaming of animals in the zoo. And I thought, I'm going to say this in Dresden. And I happened to get lucky also, because you may know this, and it's very relevant to our present day, because the greatest migration has ever been in Europe was of Germans from east to west towards the end of the war, coming away from the Russian side and coming towards the American side. I think it was something like 10 million people on the move. And it's very difficult to find out how that was for those people. And someone comes to tea one day, true story, friend of mine, friend of my son's really, and they sat down, and then I suddenly remembered that the wife was German. We started talking, and she had to say, what book are you thinking of now? What's your next book? I said, well, it sort of concerns you a bit. It's about the bombing of Dresden. She said, well, that's remarkable, because my grandmother lived near there. In fact, my grandfather was one of those generals who was executed by the Gestapo for trying to assassinate Hitler in 1944. And my grandmother wrote a 100-page, not book, but a type thingy, to explain to her grandchildren, that's me, how it was for the family when this happened, and how it was to move across Germany, looking for safety, looking for safety, looking for safety all the time. And they sent me this book, type sheet. And that was just the most wonderful thing, to hear it from the voice of someone who was there, and then be able to turn it into fiction. So that's what I've done, and that's what I've done, book after book after book. And then, of course, there's that horse. Is there anyone here who's read Wars? Hi, be proud, be proud. Hi. Put your hands up. Who's seen the film? That was more. Who saw the play? It's not so bad. Who thinks of the three? You take care now. I don't want any year sixes in versions. Hands up those of you who thought the book was the best of the three. Not enough. Hands up those of you who thought the film was the best. Rubbish. Hands up those of you who thought the play was the best. But that I understand. I think the play is the best too. Anyway, the story of Wars. I don't want to go on and on about it, but I do want to read it from because they told me you're going to read something. So I'm going to read something in a minute. Why did I like it? Not because I had any interest at the time in the First World War particularly. I had read poems in the First World War. Of course we all had. Siegfried Sassoon, Wilfred Owen, all these extraordinary poets. They were the first poems that hit me here, I think, that meant something. But I had no real interest other than seeing your film, or the Lovely War, that sort of thing. And I found myself in my local pub in Devon, just after we moved in. And there was an old bloke sitting across the farm here, having half a pint. I emphasise half a pint. Having half a pint. He was having a pint. And he's called Will Fellis. He's in his 80s. We're talking a long time ago now, about 1980 it was. And I knew Wolf had been to the First World War because someone had told me. I'd only lived in the village about 6 months, but I knew what that from one or two people, and this was one of the old blokes who'd been to the First World War. So I said, "Oh, Will, how old were you when you went to the First World War?" And he said, 17. People in Devon don't talk very much. He just said 17, I couldn't get him going. So I said, "What regiment were you in?" He said, "Oh, he was there with horses." Stop. So I said, "What, just one horse all the time?" "One." And then the most extraordinary thing happened, and I still don't understand to this day. He just started talking. It was like a stream of consciousness. It just went on and on and on. This old man telling me so much more than I'd ever read in any poem. Because the poems mostly were written by officers. This was a soldier, a trooper. And there were extraordinary things he told me. He told me about his life being spared by a German soldier at the bottom of the trench when he'd been gassed and he couldn't move. And he thought he was going to be bayoneted, and the soldier took him down and walked on. And he told me so many things I can't talk about now, they're so horrible. But things he clearly had not been able to forget or talk about for many, many years. His wife said he never mentioned these things ever before, and he talked almost a complete stranger. I had the feeling afterwards this man was passing on his story to me. I was already writing books, he may have known that, I don't know. But because he said he'd been there with horses, I did some research, and I rang up the Imperial War Museum the next day, and I said, "Do you know how many horses went to the First World War?" The man on the phone said, "Yeah, we think about 1 million from this country." I said, "How many came back?" He said, "No, that we know exactly." He said, "We know exactly, 65,000. So I did the sums, and that's roughly the same as the number of soldiers who left here and died. So the horses and the men died in roughly the same numbers. I investigated the German side, over 2 million dead, and the same sort of number of horses. Everywhere you look, horses and the men were roughly the same numbers. So they shared the same suffering. They died the same way. On the wire, in the mud, broke apart. lived and died together. So I thought, well, here may be an opportunity not to tell the war again the way it's often told, which is from one side or the other, but to tell a story of universal suffering in all wars through the eyes of a horse, because the horse can change sides. It can start in England, on my farm it does, it starts in Devon in England, and he goes across Joey's school, and he's sold away from the farm, much against the wishes of a young boy called Albert, who joins up to try and find him. And it's a story really of how Joey goes across to France, is captured by the Germans, used for pulling ambulances, for pulling guns, winters on a French farm. And it's the story of the search really of boy for horse and horse for boy. But all the time, the horse is listening to different people, with the British getting a British eye view of the war, the Germans a German eye view. And what you discover is that the side that you're on is the side you care about. And that's why I wrote it. I wanted to tell the story, so I can read you a bit of this, not shut up to your questions. I probably don't know too long anyway. There we go. I've got it all prepared. Read page 22. That's called preparation. This, in fact, is not actually from the book. This is from the script of a concert about. It's almost in the book. There's a moment when Joey's been on the German side, he's been looked after by a lovely guy who's called Mad Friedrich, a German soldier, who they like a lot because he's very kind to them. Joey's best friend is a horse called Topful. We loved him. After a while, Friedrich got up and led us down to the river. Topthorn lowered his head into the water beside me and shook it, as he always did, showering me all over my face and neck, a welcome relief from the heat. The hill back up to the chestnut woods was steep and rutty, so it was no surprise that Topthorn stumbled once or twice. Each time he managed to regain his balance and plodded on beside me. Suddenly, though, his breathing became short and rasping. As we neared the shade of the trees, he stumbled to his knees and did not get up again. He lay where he was, breathing heavily, trying to lift his head. I bent down to nuzzle him, pushing at his neck in a frantic effort to make him move, to make him wake up. But I knew from the stare in his eyes that he was gone. That I had lost my best and dearest friend. Friedrich was down on his knees beside him. Why does this war have to destroy everything that is fine and beautiful? He said. Why? It was as we stood on that hillside. I heard the first whistle of a shell above us, and saw a moment later the explosion as it landed in the river. Suddenly the wood was alive with shouting, rushing soldiers, and the shells were falling around us everywhere. My first inclination was to run anywhere to escape the shelling. But Topthorn lay dead at my feet, and I would not abandon him. Friedrich tried all he could to drag me away, shouting and screaming at me to come if I wanted to live, but no man can move a horse that does not want to be moved. In the end, Friedrich threw down my reins and tried to make his escape, but he was too slow. And he left it too late. He never reached the woods. I stood by Topthorn all day and into the night. The shelling moved back and forth along the valley, showering grass and trees into the air and leaving behind craters that smoked as if the earth itself was on fire. It was near first light that I heard the whining sound of engines and a terrifying rattle of steel that set my heart pounding, and then rolling over the rise of the hill with a cold light of dawn behind it came the first tank I ever saw. It was blind terror that tore me last from Topthorn's side and sent me bolting down the hill towards the river. Halfway up the other side of the valley, I stopped to see if it was still chasing me. I should never look back, for the one monster had become several monsters, and they were rolling on towards me. I ran, and I ran. I remember crossing the river again, clattering through empty farmyards, deserted, ruined villages. There were great craters in the ground filled with murky water. I lumbered into one, and instantly my foreleg was trapped, caught up in wire I had not seen. I kicked out wildly to free myself, the barbs tearing into my flesh before I was able to break clear. After that, I could only manage to live on. Slowly, my wounded legs stepping up all the time, pain to lift it. First, I could put no weight on it at all. After hours of wandering, I was lost in a dense autumn mist. I heard the sound of hushed, urgent voices in front of me, behind me. "There it is again, Sarge! I saw something, honest I did." "What was it, son? The old ruddy German army, or just one or two out for a stroll now?" "It wasn't a man, Sarge. Looked more like an horse, or a cow." "An horse, or a cow? And there ain't no man, son. You've been in the rubber game, son. Your eyes is playing tricks on you." As the mist began to lift, the sunlight to filter through, I could see that I was standing in a wasteland of mud and craters between two vast, unending rolls of barbed wire. From both sides of me, I heard excited voices, the sound of laughter, and then a barked order that everyone was to keep their heads down and no one was to shoot. I was drawn first one way, and then the other, but each time I met an impenetrable barrier of barbed wire. And then, from the corner of my eye, I saw a man in a grey uniform clambering out of the trenches, waving a white flag above his head. He began to clip his way methodically through the wire and put it aside, and I saw, from the other side, a small, elderly figure in a khaki grey coat, and he too was holding up a white flag. The man in grey was closer to me than the other, approaching me slowly, calling out to me all the time as he came. "Oi, well!" A shout came from behind me. I turned to see a small man in khaki weaving his way across no man's land, holding me. "Oi, well! You're going the wrong way, see?" The two men could not have been more different. For a few silent moments, they stood, one by the side of me, just yards apart from each other. It was the young man in khaki who brought the silence. "Now what do we do? I'm English, you're flaming German, and I can't speak a word of it." "It is all right," said the German. "I can speak a little English." "Well, what are we going to do, Jenny? There's two of us here, and only one horse to split between us. Don't want to start a war, do we?" "Do you know horses?" asked the German. Is he bad? His wounded leg, is it bad?" The soldier in khaki bent over and lifted my leg gently and expertly, wiping the mud from around the wound. "He's in a mess, right enough, Jenny, but I don't think he's broken. It's a bad wound, though. You've got to get him seen to. Quite question is, though, who takes him?" I think perhaps I have a good idea. The German dug deep into his pocket and produced a coin. "Head or tail, I think you say. I will show the coin to everyone on both sides, and everyone will know that whoever wins the horse, it is only by chance, and everyone will be happy." "All right then. You go ahead, Jenny, you toss. I'll go." The German tossed the coin, spinning it high in the air. As it fell to the ground, the Welshman called out in a loud voice, "Heads!" "So," said the German, I am afraid this is the face of my Kaiser looking after me. Look at all, please. You're one. The horse is yours. He had understand. It is a strange world. And now, also you and me, we will be trying our best to kill each other again. Take care, Tommy, my friend.